Dawnlit Mountains, the land of rising sun, Arunachal Pradesh. I, Manashini Panda, the session coordinator of today's event, the 8th edition of Northeast Green Summit organized by Department of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Arunachal Pradesh, and Vivure Any Foundation, welcome all of you. The present session is titled as Orientation Program on People's Biodiversity Register. We are privileged to have among us respected panelists for the day. Our chairman for today's event, Dr. Ashiho Asosi Mao, Director BSI, and Ms. Koz Rinya IFS, the first IFS women from Arunachal Pradesh, Member Secretary, APBB. I'd like to request our team members to felicitate our guests and panelists for today's event. Thank you so much. Before starting today's session, we'd like to share a few lines about the summit. The Northeast Green Summit aims to conserve the natural and cultural heritage of Northeast India by bringing together stakeholders from all walks of life to deliberate and design effective solutions to some of the unique environmental challenges being faced in the region, with the underlying theme of Green Northeast, Clean Northeast. Without much delay, we'd like to start today's session. Every small action counts towards a healthier planet. Let's do our part today. Without much delaying, I'd like to request the chairman of today's session, Dr. Ashiho Asohi Mao, Director BSI, to deliver his talk.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this Northeast 8th Summit, Green Summit. You see, today we are gathering here for that orientation of PBR. I don't know any of our, I'm sure, you must be aware, what is PBR? Or you are first time. You see, this is a very important topic. And I just wanted to share how my department plays a role in this PBR. That is what the slide just go, then after that we can discuss about it. But because we are already late and that is the biggest challenge. Yeah, just start it. On the next topic is there, no there? Okay, full screen, you make it full screen. Go next, that is not important. Okay, see, I don't know many of you are aware of Botanical Survey of India or not. This is one of the oldest scientific institute in the country, and it is the nodal institute in the Ministry of Environment and Forest on plant taxonomy. And the role of this department is to survey and document all the plant resources of the country. That is for the economic, there's plant species and economic important plants. And then it was established in 1890 by the British. Then again, the government of India has reorganized in 1954 after the independence. So that is what I say, that we do survey all over the country. We have regional office all over the country as per the phytogeographical zones, and our people go and survey all the hills and valley and all the places where people don't go also, and then document all the plants resources of the country. Next. I think somebody should operate. You see today, as per our latest record, we have in our country about 55,000 bioresources of this plant diversity. I mean that those things we can see. These animals are not included here. So that in this, about 7,263 are endemic, recorded as medicinal value. And then of this, 960 species are traded and 178 species are highly traded. Sorry, I messed that. So you can see that our country is very rich in bioresources, and also the medicinal plant also in our country is very rich. So that you heard about mega diversity, then hotspot, everything, and that is we are having all these things, and that is I think many of you are aware of these things. So let me go next. Just go that next. You see, today everybody is talking about biodiversity losses, and then what are the causes of losses? This is habitat fragmentation, that alien species, that is introduced species, which is not native to our country, but we are bringing for plantation, horticulture plantation, or forestry. So a lot of things are introduced, and that has become a big challenge to the native species. Then also over exploitation, you all know, pollution, soil, water, and atmosphere, global climate change, which is we are experiencing already. Then also the ignorance about species and ecosystem, and loss of traditional knowledge, unplanned development, economic system and policies and others. These are the causes of loss of biodiversity in the country. So next. Here, so how do we conserve this precious resource? So we have, the next, just so that let me go. You see, the government of India has enacted this Biological Diversity Act 2022. And that is to conserve India's biological diversity and regulate access to biological resources. The main objective of this Biodiversity Act was to conserve India's biological diversity and ensure its sustainable use while promoting the fair and equitable sharing of benefit arising from the use of biological resources and traditional knowledge associated with them. The Act recognizes the sovereign right of the state over their biological resources and seek to promote their conservation through a decentralized approach. So here comes the importance of this PBR, Biodiversity Management Participation. So that is why today we will be discussing about that. Okay, next. You see, people's biodiversity registration. You can see the aspect 2002 Biodiversity Act. You can see here the main objective is preservation of habitat, conservation of land races, folk varieties and cultivars, domesticated stocks and breeds of animal, microorganisms, and recording of knowledge relating to biological diversity of the area is documented. These are the things, that is the main part of this PBR. Okay, go next, you can just we'll go a bit fast. You see this, if you see the steps to be followed in PBR preparation, that is formation of Biodiversity Management Committee, that is step number 1. And then step number 2 is sensitization of the public about the study, survey, and possible management. Then the third is that training of members in identification and collection of data on biological resources and traditional knowledge. Then step 4 is collection of data. Then step 5 is analysis and validation of data in consultation with technical support group and BMC. Then step number 6 is preparation of people's biodiversity register. So here comes the role of experts or taxonomists, very important role they play. Next, you just go. You see, why this people biodiversity register is very important, especially at the local level or the district level or state level. Because if we do not know what we have, then how do we conserve? How can we claim the share from that? That's why before doing anything, we have to record all the resources of our area. And that is, in this aspect, it is not only the plant and animal, but you have to record all the uses or knowledge, how the in tradition or the local people utilize the resources, or the technique or the methods they have developed over the centuries. That kind of things we have to record everything. It is not only the name of the plant and animal, but we need to record all those information of the traditional uses. That is ethnobotanical uses or any other knowledge of the plants and animals or all those things. Here, for instance, if you look at in Northeast, like Garo and Khasis, they have the sacred grove, and that is one of the traditional practice, and that is very important, and that helps in conservation. If they may have some other belief, but then also it helps in the conservation directly or indirectly. Also, these are other tribals also in other states also we get that. So next, just go. So here, if you look at the traditional knowledge of anthropological survey, this is not only ethnobotanical, but anthropologists plays a very important role in survey and documentation. Though they may not be botanists or zoologists, but they also record so many of the uses of the tribals or the indigenous people in a particular area. So that is why that is very important, because we need to document all the information available on the uses of plants and animal or any other thing which is found in that particular area. And this is the role of PBR. This people biodiversity register. When we are doing that, we have to do all these aspects. Then also, it is not only the wild species. We have to record the cultivars, the indigenous crops, or the variety, or the breeds, whatever is available in that area. Because many times, today, due to availability of hybrids or high yielding crops, we are forgetting all our native crop varieties, and now I think in many places we can't find them. That is a big issue. But you must remember today, many countries are going back to the indigenous crop or this what the local people are using. Like today, you must be aware that millet here, and millet is now considered a superfood. Earlier, people think that only the poor and the tribal people eat, but it's a rich man food. And today you must heard about the saying. It says a very popular saying. Today, the rich man food which we consider has become poor man food, and the poor man food has become rich man food, because you will not be. It will not be affordable for you to buy millet and eat or something which is we consider as this tribal food or anything. They are so expensive. And also this organic food, if you go to the shop, in the supermarket, they are, but you can get easily cheaper one like McDonald's or those kind of things, which once upon a time we consider that rich people eat that. But now the rich people are not eating that. So those kind of things. And then here see, the tribal or the people have been eating like diaspora from long, time immemorial life. But here, they have the scientists, they have found that by chemical studies, that is dioxygenic, the raw material for hormone which is used for this oral contraceptive pills for women, and this is found, and this is what our tribals speak regularly also. And these are the type of things which we need to document properly. Because if we don't document, if a scientist or somebody find out and invented and patented, then even if you say we know before, but if you don't have any record, we cannot claim or we cannot contest in the court of law. So that's why we need to have this documentation of the PBR is very important because of that. Whatever knowledge we know in our area, we have to document it. Similarly, like I see in Northeast, many people cultivate like cereals, pseudo cereals, amaranthus, or this buckwheat that is polygonal on a large scale, and that is you find in high altitude at this buckwheat. I have seen in Anjao district in Arunachal Pradesh people cultivate this buckwheat, and then of course other amaranthus is grown in many places. So next, just so here you can see here that is what like this. But then one of the biggest issue with this PBR is that you see different people have different places have different name. We use different common name, and that creates a very big issue. And here you see here, if you look at that different tribe or different people use for different sickness or different preparation of treatment of ailments in different ways. Suppose like Centena acetica, used in 33 different formulations. For different, different tribe or different people have, communities have different way of using. Similarly, with somnifera, these also 24 different formulations are found. So that is why it is very important to document the local formulation, how the local people use it, because that may be new to what other people have reported. So that is why very important when you are documenting PBR, you need to do that. Like the Tinospora cordifolia, again, here also 26 different formulations you find people in different places people are using like that. So these are some of the examples I'm just giving. Okay, next we can do. Here again, this is also that indigenous knowledge, that living bridge which you consider. This is a biological, this is very important. And today, many parts of the world, they are trying to make so many of these things. There's not living bridge, but even by fencing also they are making by this. You must have seen in the airport and all those things, some of the plants are interwoven, and you see that the branches has been woven and make it, and that is how this is based on this kind of knowledge. It has come like that only. So that even that knowledge is very important. Okay, next. And of course, I have said that these are the type of crop we have in our region, but this has become so much neglected. Though the northeastern region is very rich, and NBBJ has documented that 250 samples from that northeastern region. But today, I think only few are cultivated. Many people are not growing now. Okay, next. So why taxonomy is important is that is, we need to distinguish from each other in a number of ways. And also, if we cannot identify the plant, how will we know what is in the field of forest? That is why we need to identify properly, and this is very important. Even during while preparing PBR, we need to have somebody who can identify properly. Otherwise, if you wrongly identify everything what you are doing, then it is not going to be useful at all. So that is why here, taxonomy plays a very important in PBR. I have experienced with the PBR prepared by West Bengal government and Chhattisgarh government. They sent us for this validation or to just to see and give. And we found 90% is wrongly identified, and then it becomes so difficult. They were asking us to help them. But we say, if 90% is wrong, how do we do? It's like a fresh work to do by us to do the whole thing. Though they have produced big fat book saying that they have done it, but when we go through it, it has no meaning at all. It was very confusing. So we told them, this way it is difficult for us to do. We can only help in some way, but not rewriting the whole PBR. That is what. So next, you see, very famous this mythology. You can see that Hanuman, this thing. It's you must have heard this the Sanjivani. When this Ram was hit by that, this you must have heard about the mythology, by the arrow, and he was almost dying. So the doctor, the herbal doctor from Sri Lanka, told Hanuman to go to the hills in Himalayas and bring that Sanjivani, and that by that that Ram can be, his life can be brought back. So he went to this Dronagiri hills, but he could not identify the plant. He did not know which plant is that Sanjivani. So he brought the whole hill to that physician to show that. And that is why it is really important to know the plants and can identify that is it. Okay, next. So here, if you look at today, this Sanjivani, many people are calling all these 13 plants as Sanjivani. But we consider, or people consider, what the taxonomists or botanists consider Selaginella bracteris as the possible Sanjivani, because nobody can say exactly what is this plant. But because of nature of this Sanjivani, so you can see there, it's already like dry completely. But when you put into water, it will just come back to life. And that is how you can see in the market also sometimes people sitting on the roadside and selling that Sanjivani. And that is because of this. Maybe if you look at, if you read the mythology of the story, this could be the closest one. That is what we consider. Okay, next. And see, the problem is in plant name also, common name and scientific name. This is one thing which we need to understand it. You see here, even this Centella asiatica, it is also known as Brahmi in Hindi, or Brahmi, that is Sanskrit or Hindi. Hindi. Okay, next. And again, this is the Brahmi again, this Bacopa Muniari also is Brahmi. But this is the real Brahmi, not the Centella asiatica. But because the common name both are Brahmi, so we consider that the other Centella asiatica also as Brahmi. But the real Brahmi is this Bacopa Muniari. So this is why common name, if you follow by common name, you are going to be a big problem. That is next. So again, you see there, this Danyapata, which we see in Meghalaya, also they call Danyapata. But in Maharashtra, it is known as Kotmi. So here, the same plant has different name. And if you do not know the scientific name, you are going to get confused. That is why scientific name is very important. Next. Here you can see here, scientific name is Corynthum sativa. And then this thing, and scientific name is not only restricted to India, it is all over the world that is known by that Corynthum sativa. That is why when we identify, we should also, after knowing the common name, also try to find out the scientific name so that you don't wrongly interpret or wrongly identify. Because this is very important. That's why when you are preparing PBR, this you have to be very careful. You need to know the common name of the local that area, but then also find out the scientific name in a proper way. Okay, next. So here, again, in this also sentence, this Nectanthus arboretritis, the flower is very scented, that people, girls especially put on the hair and like that, or that is the key. Jasmine, like jasmine type. And here also you can see different places have different name. And that is why, but then it is only, the scientific name is one. So that is what we need to know. That's why taxonomies are really important. Next. So again, of course, this is where most of the PBR preparation is, people don't do it, this hydrogen preparation. But if you prepare this way, it is easy for identification and you will not make the mistake. You can bring to the expert and show this thing, then the expert can help in identification. But if you bring one photo or just the name, it is very difficult for, even for expert also to identify. So that is why, even for BMC or this, it's very important if we can make a herbarium seed. That is why we do that, and we help a lot people who are doing. So we also give training for this identification and all the seed. That is why you must, those who are responsible for preparing BMC, I think you should know about this. Okay, next. So, if we don't have PBR, what will happen? That is what it is. You see, there are two examples which has of this biodiversity name. This is already a very specific example of this biodiversity. Name is known from ancient time or from long time. Uses of this name is known by Indian, our people. But and also this is used for different as a medicinal plant in different ways. And also it is known to have antiseptic properties. But then in the the US, by the name one person, Mr. W.R. Grace, and this agriculture department from US, they filed a patent for fungicide extracted from this name sheets before the European patent office. But Indian government contested. This is already known to us traditionally, and also not only traditionally, it is recorded in our this Indian system of knowledge, this Ayurveda or Unani or those things. It is already in written record is there. So after that, the patent was revoked. If we don't have that record, we couldn't, the patent could have been valid and they could have been utilized. So that is why PBR is very important. If, as I said, not only the name of the plant or animal, but when you go for PBR preparation, note it down all the uses, how the local people use it. And that is important. If we can write it in and keep in record, anytime in future, if any scientist or any company file a patent for medicine or for anything, we can oppose it, or if not also, we can fight for our share, the royalty, because the knowledge, what they are getting is derived from the knowledge of the local people or the indigenous people, or that is why you can get the royalty out of it. So that is why PBR is very important for that reason. Okay, next. Another also this haldi. This is also again in India from ancient time. People use for cooking, for all type of uses they use. And similarly here also again in 1995, University of Mississippi applied for a patent over the use of turmeric as in wound healing. And this is again wound healing. It is nothing new to Indian in tradition. It has been used from long time, of hundreds and thousands of years. In this country has the people in this country has been using. So again, the government of India, especially the CSR, contested this patent, and it was again because of this the patent was not legitimate, and so they could not get the patent. And this is the thing. If we don't have record with us, then people can easily take away all our resources, the bioresources, or our plants can be patented. So that is why PBR is very important, not just documenting just like that, but here all this you can see this evidence, this shows that. So I think next, I think I have finished that. So that is what I would like to say, the importance of PBR, and also how we should go about in the preparation of PBR. That is what. Thank you very much. Next is.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful talk. I hope that every one of us present here, especially the students, have got the concept of PBR, and we are hopeful to invite one of our team members to felicitate Mr. C.P. Marak, Chairman, MBOSE, Government of Meghalaya. I'd like to invite Sir Mr. C.P. Marak, Chairman MBOSE, Government of Meghalaya, as the second panelist for the day.
How much time, young lady? How much time do we have? 15 minutes by 15 we close.
10 minutes.
Okay, maybe 5 minutes also. Okay. Okay. Pradesh State Biodiversity Board, a young Indian Forest Service officer, and all the young students plus the other attendees in this particular topic on understanding the People's Biodiversity Register. I am thankful to Dr. Mao that he has given a comprehensive overview about the importance of the Biodiversity Act 2002, including the implications of the Act to carry forward not just the resolution of the Biodiversity Convention, but also to see that India's commitment to the CBD, Convention on Biodiversity, is carried forward through the legal instrument which is known as the Biodiversity Act 2002. He has stressed, of course, apart from the legal instruments, he has stressed on the taxonomy part of it, because one of the mandate of this Biodiversity Act 2002 is that we need to conserve, we need to preserve, then we also need to inventorize, and we also need to share the benefits. So these are the three main objectives for which this Biodiversity Act 2002 was enacted. In 2002, the rules came out in 2004 as far as the Government of India MOEF is concerned, and the respective states probably, like if I speak for my own state of Meghalaya, we have also drafted the state biodiversity rules, and probably after 2004, and probably similarly for Arunachal also, you must have had your own state biodiversity rules, probably after 2004, 2011, yeah, quite late. Now, one interesting part of this journey of conservation of this biodiversity is sometime in 2016, we were somehow from 2002, 2004 and down the line, somehow we have been lackadaisical in our approach in enforcing the provisions of the Biodiversity Act 2002. And therefore, sometime in 2016, there was a case filed in the National Green Tribunal that is known as, it's a very famous case. It is Chandra Bhal Singh versus Union of India. This was filed in the principal bench of the National Green Tribunal in the year 2016. It is registered as OA number 347 of 2016. The final verdict, the final orders of the NGT came sometime on 14/12/2020, almost after 4 or 5 years since it was filed, that the case was closed. Now it's very interesting. I'll just highlight a few things. It's quite interesting. The National Green Tribunal has to knock the knee of the state governments and the State Biodiversity Board and also the NBA, National Biodiversity Authority, based in Chennai. Because, as I said, we were dragging our feet in implementing or enforcing the provisions of the of this Biodiversity Act. And it will be interesting to know that sometime in 2020, this is the report given, this is the affidavit filed before the NGT. In 2020, I'll speak only for the notice. In 2020, Arunachal has filed an affidavit that you have 1806 local bodies, and you have already formed 1806 biodiversity management committees. People's Biodiversity Register, you have prepared 1050. That means 58% of the in the BMCs you have prepared for PBR. That was on, this is in 2020. Assam, 2549. Those of you who are from Assam will be interested. Then you have BMCs 2549 and PBRs. Assam was quite fast. They have completed, so 100% as far as Assam is concerned. Good. Then Manipur. I don't know how many of you are from Manipur. Manipur says that we have doubled 2,282 local bodies, and they have formed BMCs, Biodiversity Management Committees, in 1907, and they have completed only 37 PBR. That means it is just about 1.94% as far as PBR is concerned. Meghalaya, my own state, we have 6471 local bodies. We have 4 BMCs in 4573. We have prepared PBR, People's Biodiversity Register, for 1050 BMCs. So it's quite a, the percentage is still quite less, just about 16% and so on. But as far as BMC is concerned, we have managed to form about 70% of the local BMC, of the local body. Mizoram has 894. They completed, they formed in 894, but People's Biodiversity Register only 810 completed. So about 90%. Nagaland, about 88%. Sikkim is 100%. Tripura is 100%. So you can see that Sikkim, then Tripura, then Mizoram, Assam, these states have been able to complete the People's Biodiversity Register. And so this is a good thing. Then, as far as the laggard states are concerned, sometime in the, as far as the laggard states are concerned, sometime in 2000 and I think 2021, they said that the National Green Tribunal says, okay, because of the COVID, some of you may not be able to complete these PBRs, formation of DFCs, etc. Therefore, we are not going to impose fine for non-compliance. It's just like a contempt thing. When you don't obey the court orders, then it's like a contempt. So they said that, okay, because of COVID, this time we are exempting you. But by 2021, by 30th of June 2021, he said, you have given us an assurance that in the rest of the Biodiversity Management Committee, we will complete the pending People's Biodiversity Register, and in those local bodies where we have not set up, notified the Biodiversity Management Committee, we will do it. So that was the assurance given to the NGT. COVID situation, the NGT also said, okay, we are not going to impose any fine, but please do so by 30th of June 2021. So this is a very important case which the National Green Tribunal, in the case Chandra Bhal Singh versus Union of India, in 08347/2016, the orders are concerned. To sum up, this particular act, it empowers the local villagers through the instrument of People's Biodiversity Register, by which we can protect our interests, our traditional knowledge, and also the bioresources from any kind of piracy, from any kind of attempt to put GI, geographical indication, or a claim for patent on the ingredients of that particular bioresource, which is useful maybe for pharmaceutical purpose, which may be useful for food, which may be useful for any other purpose. So this is a very, very important instrument, and I would therefore urge upon all the state biodiversity boards, those who have not completed this exercise, to please do so, and also to ensure that the content of the People's Biodiversity Register is on the model which the National Biodiversity Authority has put up, uploaded in their website. So there is a model, PBR. What should be the content? So you don't have to scratch your head and say that, oh, but what should be the content? It is there. So more or less on that line, if we can do this, I think we will do a great justice to see that our country's commitment for the Convention of Biological Diversity is fulfilled in and through these hundreds and thousands or lakhs of BMCs which we have created throughout the country. So with these few words, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir, for your invaluable thoughts on biodiversity. And now I would like to invite Ms. Coach Renu, the first IFS from Arunachal Pradesh, Member Secretary, ABBB, for her valuable thoughts as the third panelist.
Esteemed panelists, dear participants, very good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here, and thank you for the invitation to be a panelist in this session. Earlier panelists have already, elaborated and dwelled upon most of the important aspects of the People's Biodiversity Register. However, since it is an orientation program and almost 90% the young minds are here, let me at the cost of repetition again reiterate the outline and summarize the important distinct aspects whatever has been shared earlier. So our country is one of the mega biodiverse countries in the world, and we are a signatory to the Convention on Biodiversity, which was negotiated and signed in Rio de Janeiro in the famous Earth Summit. And in 1993, June 5, 1993, which we also celebrate as the World Environment Day. And to give effect to the CBD as a signatory, our country has introduced a bill of biological diversity bill, which was passed by the Parliament in 2002, and which is a legal instrument for the conservation, the three pillars, the three main objectives of CBD, which is the conservation of biodiversity, number one. Number two, sustainable utilization of the biodiversity. And the most important aspect, and that is the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of the utilization of these biodiversity resources. So for the institutional mechanism, we have the National Biodiversity Authority at the country level, which is based at Chennai. And then at the states, we have the state biodiversity boards and state biodiversity committees at the union territories. And at the local level, under section 41 of the National Biodiversity Act, we have the BMC, which is a very important body, which is the Biodiversity Management Committee, which is to be constituted at the local level. And as Manak sir has highlighted, that there was a Chandrawal Singh versus Union of India, a very important case, wherein one of the main contention was that the local bodies, all the local bodies in the country do not have the BMCs. So I can tell from my experience is that what in our state, in Arunachal Pradesh Biodiversity Board, the BMCs were constituted at the village level. They were not at the local level, local body level. So we had to do a lot of work and a lot of coordination meetings with the nodal, which is the RD department. So finally, within a short span of time, we had to constitute the BMCs. So 1806 BMCs as on date. The thing is that Honorable NGT had imposed penalty on all the defaulting states of 10 lakhs per month beyond a certain time schedule. And because of that, there was full support from the other departments and we could achieve in time. And the thing is, even the PBR, BMCs we have achieved, and the PBRs also, People's Biodiversity Register, which, normally it would take almost a year, since it is the record of the biodiversity, including the flora, fauna, the parts used, and the traditional knowledge. Round-the-year observation is required. But here, because of we had to, comply to the court orders, so even the PBRs have been prepared, and I am sure that must be the same story in most of the boards. We, at a great haste, we have prepared the PBRs also and complied with the court orders, and we were exempted from the penalty, thankfully. But the major challenge lies here before us. That is the PBR that we have prepared is based on the secondary data. And I'm sure most of the northeastern states, the same story would be there. And once the PBR procedure is such that, as earlier told, that detailed, training has to be there, sensitization has to be there, then involvement of people has to be there, and then there is a proper vetting from the technical support group at the local level, and which has to be finally vetted by the BMC committee and the SBB. So the challenge lies ahead is how will we get this vast number of PBRs being validated. So far, out of 1806, we have been able to do only for, say, 200 odd numbers. That too with the support from G.V. Pant Institute and ETRI Sikkim. And hopefully, Dean Nedis is also here. We can take support from many of the students doing BSc Forestry and MSc Forestry and Botany from RJU. The importance of proper identification cannot be overemphasized in doing proper documentation. So with the support from the students, we will try to engage them and get the PBRs validated at the earliest. And regarding the importance of this PBR, much has been said on the, I will just cite a small case study just for sharing our young people here. The best example, and which is cited as the first example of access and benefit sharing mechanism in the country. So in the 1980s, so few scientists from TBPGRI, some Tropical Botanical Garden Research Institute is there in Kerala. So they had visited a few forests in the Western Ghats. And Kani tribe, the residing Kani tribe there, they had gone as a guide to the scientists. So during the tour of the hills, the botanical expedition tour, the tribes, they plucked some fruits from the trees, and they had it, and they were, they were full of energy and agility. So the scientists find out what they were having. Initially, they were reluctant to share, but eventually they could get the information that it is an important herb used there, and its traditional knowledge is for energy, and they do not get tired, fatigued because of having that berry, that fruit, trichopus. So later on, the TBPGRI did some research on that, and then they did clinical trials and then launched medicine. And there was some arrangement, this was prior to the BD Act. So some arrangement was made, and there was a royalty sharing from the pharmaceutical industry to the benefit claimers of traditional knowledge, that is the Kani tribes. So protection of our bioresources from biopiracy, it is one thing, very important aspect. And the access and benefit sharing of the benefits arising out of utilization of our traditional knowledge as well as the biological resources is also very important. As on date, some 100 plus, I think, ABS agreements have been signed in the country. In the state, I think the Northeast, Assam has a number of ABS agreements. But in the state, we tried for one project with Neris, which did not take off. So probably in the future now, some Dabar India is taking this Xanthosynum from Bondila area, and that is for then the Timur. Many of you might be aware that Timur is used in many medicines. It is in the Dabar paste also, toothpaste also. So we are looking that we will do this ABS agreement with Dabar, and a lot of scope, because we are the repository, we are the Eastern Himalayan biodiversity hotspot. The country has two, one in the Western Ghats, and we in the northeastern states have the Eastern Himalayan biodiversity hotspot, and you say any resource, we are rich in it. So for the medicinal plants, a lot of scope in the pharmaceutical industries, how the custodian of the protectors, the custodians of the biodiversity resources, how they can benefit out of their resource and traditional knowledge, which is the way forward. This is the way forward for conservation of the biodiversity, rich biodiversity. And not taking much time, I'd also like to, WWF India member Kamal Mehdi is here. I'd also like to share that the State Biodiversity Board has embarked on the preparation of SPSAP, State Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, which is a requirement as per the amendment, BT Amendment Act in 2023. And we are doing it as per in line with the Paquet Declaration of the State, and also the Kunming-Montreal by Global Biological Framework. So we'll align with that, and we have done all the district level consultation. We are taking a whole of government and whole of society approach. And we are at the last leg. We have invited suggestions from all the stakeholders of the state through our papers, through the local dailies, and through our websites. Very less suggestions have come. All the students who are here doing MSc and BSc and research scholars who are here. So I will request that if you have suggestions, please do give in. We will be taking them officially. And with this, I hope that our PBRs, People Biodiversity Registers, will be prepared. The robust PBRs will be prepared, which will be of benefit to our local communities in the future. And in our way, in the preparation of PBR and activities of BMCs, hope we will be able to contribute to the sustainable development goals and the instrument and the objectives of CBD in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your informative talk and enlightening us with your words on biodiversity. And now we are privileged to have among us Dr. Rahul Mungikar, Deputy Director of Community Conservation, Srushti Conservation Foundation, who is connected to us via online platform. So I request you to address the audience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me for this North-East Green Summit. And unfortunately, I couldn't attend because the change in the schedule. But we'll try our best to present what are the data that we do have with us. I just would like to start with a small introduction about the District Conservation Foundation. We are the Pune-based organization in Maharashtra and presently working in various states across India, and specifically with respect to the People's Biodiversity Register and implementation of the Biological Diversity Act. I was a part of the Maharashtra State Biodiversity Board since 2012 to 17. That is the establishment of the board. I worked as a senior officer there. And presently, we are doing the same, this PBR related issues in Lakshadweep Islands and also in various parts of India. With me, my colleague is present, Dr. Girish Jathar. He is an ornithologist, and myself, I'm the plant botanist. And we are working for this effective preparation of the People's Biodiversity Register. As already the dignitary members have already mentioned about what is the PBR and related issues. So I think that I don't want to go into that nitty-gritty that how exactly PBR they are preparing and what is the issues related to that. But herewith I would like to present a case study, and it is from the northeast area itself, because we work in Arunachal Pradesh and also we are working in other parts of the northeast region. In that case, one specific case study is based on how the PBR data can be utilized effectively for the betterment of the community. So my colleague is with me, Dr. Girish Jatar. He is also the deputy director. We both are the deputy director at Session Conservation Foundation, and he will present that case study. And after that, I will continue with part of the people biodiversity registers regarding what exactly we are missing and the challenges into that. So I'll not overlap with what other dignitaries have already mentioned in the speech. So I am handing over to Dr. Girish Jatar.
Thank you very much. Thanks again for inviting us for this wonderful event. And here I am going to present a case study from Arunachal Pradesh, West Kamen district. So we worked there from 2020, and we have wonderful results from what we have done. So what I will do, I will just share my screen so that you guys can see it. Just a minute. Give me a second so that I can share the screen. Yeah. So can you see the screen? If somebody could give me a feedback that the screen is shared.
Yes, sir. We can see your screen.
Okay. Thanks a lot. So this is an interesting story in how we converted or how we used PBR as one of the tools to bring some livelihood to the people of West Kamen district. We exclusively work with the Shatrupan community there. And everybody knows about the Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary. So Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary and Gugun people are very famous. But in the same landscape, Shatrupan people also live. And they equally have very great diversity in their culture, as well as they live in a very diverse landscape. And we got a very interesting insight how the conservation work should go further. So this is the area. If you can see the community which lives there, the Shatrupan community. So their entire land is actually surrounded by the sanctuaries. So we have a Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary. Here you can see that is in blue color. Then we have a Sesa Orchid Sanctuary. Then we have a Pakke Tiger Reserve, Namiri Tiger Reserve, Tonai Upai Wildlife Sanctuary, and Jamsudka Sanctuary in Bhutan. And this entire land is surrounded by sanctuaries. And currently, this area is a part of a elephant reserve, this coming elephant reserve. So the community lives here. So when we started working with them, we found that the Doimara, the base where the settlement is there, is at least 600 years old. And since ancient days, Shatrupan people are living there. So they are traveling between Rupa and Doimara, and they are having a trade relationship with the Boro tribe, where they exchange the cattle, and in exchange of cattle and spices, they get a rice from these people. So that is the tradition they are following. When we go further, and I'm a little deeper, then we can see this is an eco-cultural landscape where the Shatrupan community travels from Rupa to Doimara, and there are a lot of Buddhist monuments on their way. There are also very interesting stories about how this journey was carried out, and it's called as a Besme. And recently, the Shatrupan community from Doimara has restarted this Besme, this particular trek from Doimara to Rupa. So we go further with this, and these are the interventions which we decided to go. So first of all, we decided to go for the establishment of community conserve area. Then we decided to go for a formation of biodiversity management committee and establish the People's Biodiversity Register of Doimara village. We also carried out the biodiversity assessment, then did training and capacity building of the community members, and ultimately we converged into the eco campsite where the ecotourism can start. And let's see the journey, how we progress on that. So the village council of Doimara decided to convert this entire area as a Sahor community Kondori area. And this is a very interesting place. Sahor, the word Sahor itself means where the mother elephants come and give birth to the calves. So that area is called as a Sahor in Shadukwen language. We further went and formed the Biodiversity Management Committee, and this is the Gram Sabha resolution of the Doimara village. And we submitted this to State Biodiversity Board of Arunachal Pradesh, and we got a confirmation from them, and we started working on it. Further, we did some training with the village community members, and our team collected data on PBR. So we covered almost 37 aspects of PBR, and we got a very interesting information because being a Buddhist community, they collect a lot of aromatic plants from the forest, and these are dried, and from these dried plants they make incense sticks. Similarly, on the right hand side, you can see this is an edible algae. It is found in a nearby river called Misri, and this edible algae is eaten. And as far as my understanding and my work in Northeast India, there are hardly any communities who consume algae as an edible product. But these people are regularly consuming this edible algae from the Misri river. Similarly, you can see there are a lot of wildflowers which are being domesticated by these people. So they bring wildflowers from the jungle, and they try to domesticate it. So each and every house in Doimara village you will see these kind of plants. And interestingly, there is one person who is not Shedrupen. He is originally from Assam, but he has got a lot of leaves. We call this as a pan, wild beetle leaves. So he brings the beetle vines from the forest, and he regrows them in his backyard. So actually process of domestication is happening at this place, and you can see it very easily. If you go in the village, several such things can be observed in this village. So what information we got from the PBR is there are 10 names for the mammals, 21 names for birds. These are all Shedrupen names. For reptile amphibians, there are 8 names. For fish, because they exclusively consume fish, so they know about fish much better than any other tribe. That is what I would say. So 18 fish, they have names for fish, 18 names. And when we actually check the samples, then we could get 60 different fishes. So that interesting information there. And wild vegetables, they consume around 50 wild vegetables. So this is about how we collected data from the PBR, but we ourselves carried out biodiversity assessment with the wildlife ecologist, my team and myself. We collected all this information. And interestingly, we found around 356 species of birds in and around Doimara village. And you all, as you know, the Middle West Wildlife Sanctuary is very famous for birds. So till now, around 900 species have been reported from Middle West Wildlife Sanctuary. Of these, 356 have been reported nearby Doimara village. Similarly, we found 27 mammal species, and of them, the iconic animal is the Asian elephant. So there is a population of Asian elephant which lives in the environs of Doimara village. So there is also elephant corridor. The elephants actually pass through various sanctuaries, right from the Middle West Wildlife Sanctuary to Sonnai Rupai via Patti and Nameri, and again they visit the Middle West. So there is kind of circular route. We haven't ourselves studied this particular aspect, but the people who live in Doimara, so according to them, these elephants actually do kind of a circular transit between these national parks and sanctuaries. The most important part of Indian West Wildlife Sanctuary, there is a peak called Pirila, and these elephants go to Pirila for salting, and these are the only elephants in the world, I guess, who actually climb more than 9,400 meters. So there are some photographs also, tourists have taken photographs. The elephant is there, and in the background you can see snow. So that is very interesting. I think this doesn't happen anywhere in the world, but this is the only place where this happens. So this is about Asian elephant. This is part of corridor, part of Coming Elephant Reserve. That's why this particular landscape is very important. Similarly, we found around 154 butterfly species in and around Himalayan, 12 species of reptiles, 8 species of amphibians, 16 species of fish, 42 species of dragonflies and damselflies. So this entire plethora of biodiversity actually creates an environment which is very good for ecotourism. And lots of people actually flock to Eagle Wildlife Sanctuary to watch birds. And Rohimara is one of the area which is like a foothills and it has a great potential because most of the people who goes to Eagle Wildlife Sanctuary, they can actually traverse through Rohimara as well. So this has a great potential. Therefore, we also recorded more than 100 wild flowering plants from Rohimara. So we prepared the PBR document, and this is the concluding, I will say, ceremony of the PBR, where the deputy magistrate actually came there and they released this PBR document. And you can see my colleague Dr. Rahul is holding PBR in his hand. So we collected the information, and interestingly, this PBR now about 600 pages. And you can see we submitted this PBR to Arunachal Pradesh Arunachal Pradesh State Biodiversity Board, and they also visited to check how the PBR, and it was nominated for the best PBR. I'd like to take a permission of the member secretary who is here. We have submitted 2 copies of this PBR to State Biodiversity Board, but we haven't received any feedback or any receipt that your PBR is accepted. So from this platform, I request you that if you could expedite this process so that the community is getting feedback that their PBR is registered there, and they can start further growing up this PBR, because it's a dynamic document and it can be taken further and it can be used for the village development. Similarly, we as a nature-based livelihood, taking this PBR and all the biodiversity assessment, we took the community members to Nagaland and parts of Assam and trained them. We took them to the homestays in Nagaland and told them how they can actually cater to the tourists coming to Himara. Then we selected a campsite, and now this campsite is converted into this picture. You can see this picture. Very good facilities there. Interestingly, because of the COVID, this did not kickstart very well. But now, since 2021, around 150 tourists have visited Himara. 50% of them were from different countries like England, Germany, US, Japan, Sweden. And the annual revenue of this enterprise has now reached to 5 lakh rupees in 2022. And it is providing livelihood, direct livelihood to 13 families in the Himara village. So, thank you very much for listening, and I am handing over this to my colleague, Dr. Rahul.
Thank you. Thank you, Girish. I just concluding the part. I am just presenting the last part of my presentation, because this is the case study based on the Arunachal, and I thought that how the PBR is effectively, or it can be used effectively for the alternate livelihood as well as for the management, resource management in the village. Now the Devimara people, they are utilizing the information is there in the PBR for their sustainable development as such. This is actually hardly anywhere this is happening, or very few people they are utilizing. This is what we call it as a post PBR. What is after the PBR, what the village committee can do. Wherever the good resources are there, certainly they can go with this type of format. But everywhere it will not be possible, and in that case, the lot of supports may be needed from the government machineries as well to the forest department also. So there are 2 types of approaches: the top-down approach and bottom-up approach. So bottom-up approach actually creating a lot of information from the peoples where the good documentation is present. I would like to highlight one more issue here, that whenever as it was already mentioned by the previous speaker, that when the entity gave the order to complete the PBR criteria, as we are working in the various states, we are well aware that there are some exceptional cases where the good PBR documentation has been done. But in most of the cases, the PBR is of very small, or the number of pages are very few, and they just attach the list of the floras and faunas to that. So we are requesting again and again wherever we are going, specifically in the tribal area. Now recently I had been in the Surat, also in the Gujarat area, where I spoke to all the professors in the college university and explained them that wherever the PBR is already done, we need to make it a more comprehensive so that this can be used as a management tool or management resource tools for other or for their own areas. Now there are two more issues that I would just like to flank here. There is no integration of the FRA, that is the Forest Rights Act, and the PESA directly into the Biological Diversity Act. But as it is already mentioned that it is in addition to the FRA and PD, all the existing acts. So this can be used very effectively for the proper implementation in the Schedule 6 and Schedule 5 areas, wherever the lot of bioresources and the traditional knowledge is associated. Now this knowledge, traditional knowledge, there was in Chhattisgarh we did this exercise also. We analyzed 20 PBRs, 23 PBRs. This is through one of my MSc research students. And during that, what we tried to evaluate the PBR, that what is the quality of the traditional knowledge that we are getting. And what I realized that because I am as a part of the National Biodiversity Authority expert group, so in that case, what we are realizing that now there is a act is already amended, and traditional knowledge digital library exempted from the commercial, that is the ABS mechanism. But wherever the documentation of the traditional knowledge is there, we are getting this ABS is more applicable in that case, and so it becomes more essential. So these are some of the issues I thought that I should share with you, and accordingly we presented a case study, and based on these are some of the issues that we need to take ahead. So more comprehensive documentation of the PPR is needed, and for that we need to make a proper structure where because capacity building is not sufficient for the only person who is doing the PBR, but it is need to be given to all the machineries who are associated with PBR. This is what my say is there. I think that the time is over and we are getting late, so I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rahul sir, for connecting with us and sharing about the novel initiative Srishti. And also we are thankful to Girish Chatter sir for his presentation on a relevant issue. It was indeed an informative session by our two panelists. Thanks to technology, of course, today we can hear them. So now we have come.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir. So now we have come to the end of today's session. I am thankful to all our esteemed panelists, Dr. Mao, Mr. C.P. Mara, Ms. Kos Rinya, Dr. Rahul Mungikar, and also Girish Chattha sir. I am also thankful to our audiences, especially students, scholars from northeastern states, organizers, team members comprising of scholars from all over the country, and for making this session a successful one. We are grateful to you for gracing the summit too. Thank you for your contribution in protecting our common legacy, the environment. Hope you enjoyed every bit of it. Stay blessed and have a pleasant journey back home. Best wishes, Team Northeast Spring Summit. Thank you. Have a nice day.